Yes.
People.
Speaking of people sucking.
Yeah. Speaking of people sucking, you ready to lose some followers, Mijo?
I am.
All right. How do I want to approach this? If you're listening, you know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start at the beginning, and this isn't even the beginning. But how old were we when Columbine happened? What year was that? Was that 99?
Hold on, let me look it up. 99.
99. So I was 9, you were probably 10, 11, right?
Yeah.
It's the first one in my experience as a human, being the age that I am, to where it was like, oh shit, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck? And everybody was like, oh my God, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Since that time, we're 9, 10 years old. You can't even attempt. I mean, you could, but it would take this whole podcast to count the amount of times that a mass shooting has happened. And since it's been, since we were 9, 10, 11 years old, it's sad to say, but it's the truth. People our age and even people younger than us and a little bit older than us, we've become I might get emotional on this one, Mijo. Show my ass on the internet. We've become desensitized. And it's it's gotten to a point to where I don't want to find the happy medium anymore.
No.
I don't care about responsible gun owners. I don't care about people that hunt. I don't care about your hobby of going to the range. Like,
yeah,
it's too much, man. And up until, it's sad to say, but this is the truth, up until and this is sad, like the last mass shooting we had was last week.
there was
And
two.
I'm not even talking about,
There
there was
two.
two back to the next day. Another one
Yeah.
happened at a church, but I'm talking about the one that happened in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I've been desensitized up to that point, and the shooting in Buffalo. And what really kind of shook me out of that was I was on Twitter and I came across the actual video.
I did not.
If you haven't seen it, don't watch it, because this is what, or maybe you do need to watch it, because this is what broke me. It's man, it's I don't have the words. I don't have the words, but we've clearly got an issue. And I don't want to hear, the mental health thing. I don't want to hear that. We're all aware of that.
Yeah.
And what's being done about it?
Nothing.
Right? You can get everybody in the world to go to therapy or mandate their whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the solution, right? Some people just have fucking hate in their heart. And the fact that it's so easy to obtain a firearm, and the people, I'm just, for the lack of a better term, the people in charge, right, are so involved with this corrupt money. They're being bought off.
Yeah.
Everyone has a number, right? And until until it happens to one of those people's family members, and I don't want to wish that on anyone, don't get me wrong, that's not where I'm going with this, But until that happens, I don't think that there's a wake-up call, because the people that can make these decisions their pockets are lined.
Yeah.
And all we can do, man, is
There's so many layers to this conversation.
There are.
Because over the past month, it's just been like, protect the children, protect unborn babies. It's like
that's another layer
where it's like you don't even want to protect the ones that are alive. And people were like, I've watched videos and clips. They're like, well, it's the doors. We need to have one entrance and one exit. It's like, that's not how you build schools. And what do you do about outdoor schools? Like in Phoenix, Hawaii, California, Parkland was an outdoor school. There's no doors. Like, what are we talking about? Oh, it's a door problem?
Yeah.
And then just another layer, because I've been following it. Obviously, I'm down here in Texas. It's huge news out here. They waited an hour to go inside. Like that thin blue line, looking real thin right about now for all the cop lovers out there. How you going to wait outside for an hour? Like, that don't make sense. And per capita, Uvalde, the city of Uvalde, have more cops per capita than any other city in the state of Texas. 40% of their budget goes to police. And who stopped the shooter? ICE? Like, what are we ICE? Like, what was ICE doing there? Like, what are we talking about? Like, it like the whole thing is just weird. Like, it's so weird. And it's exhausting.
It really is. It really is, Mijo. And what breaks my heart is, in this time, I'll be as bold to say this time next week, when we sit down to do our next podcast, this won't be no one's going to be talking about this.
No.
Not until the next one.
I mean, you've, and I feel like it's hard to say, but like it's almost worse, because it's like, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I'm going to be an asshole for saying this, but like, this was a bunch of Latino kids. Like, you figured it would have happened after Sandy Hook, which was a bunch of white kids.
Right.
Like, not after Sandy Hook. Definitely not after this. They're just like, all right.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's no limit. That's why I use the analogy. And once again, I'm going to preface this, if you're just now getting with this, I'm not wishing harm or bad things on anyone, because I don't think that anyone deserves this heartache and this loss and useless violence. But until it happens to someone, I don't want to use even names as examples, but until it happens to someone that they lose a loved one that's in a power-making decision role, it's not going to click, because they're getting checks, bro.
Yeah. Mitt Romney gets $13 million a year, or he's gotten $13 million over his career from an NRA.
I went to school with Tyler. Tyler says, I never stepped foot into school and worried about my safety growing up as a kid. 2 times, and I went, same. Tyler and I went to the same school. He's a 1 grade ahead of me. 1 or 2. I believe you're 1 grade ahead of me, or was 1 grade ahead of me. Yeah. We never worried about that. No. This time, he said 2 times this year, my daughter, 4 years old, school was either canceled or recommended we keep the kids home because of potential shooting threats or bombing threats.
Dude. Yeah. And it's just like the stories, like, I'm clearly like the first person is obviously like Greg Abbott. You're the governor of Texas. And then the senator, Ted Cruz, who's a coward, right? Like, he, even last year, the Winter Storm Uri.
Peace.
It's like, I get to leave. I have the money to leave the state of Texas. No, my kids want to go on vacation. It's like, right now. It's like, so your kids don't suffer, but people died of hypothermia. Cool. You know.
I thought that was during the
that was a winter storm last year, February.
Oh, I didn't know that was the winter storm. I thought it was a hurricane. or I thought it was water.
No.
I guess it still is water, but just frozen.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. This is last year.
But dude, I've been going back to the desensitized part. Like, I wanted to, because I've been for this since Buffalo. I've been walking around with like a heavy weight. Like, I haven't been really the same. Like, I've been.
Yeah, well, especially that one, because that one was like, I mean, we'll never know the motive of this one, but like that one was clearly like a racial thing and just the access to do it. And he was on Twitch and Twitch didn't do anything about it. But it's the desensitized of like, I mean, what could you do? You don't know if it's going to hit your town next.
And that's another point, man. I'm glad that you brought that up because that one clearly was racially motivated. And
so was the one in Riverside the day after at church.
Yeah, the church. Yeah, exactly. And
so where are you safe?
This is and this is coming from me.
Yeah,
a white male in the United States. You know, hit the privilege jackpot, if you will. Everywhere that I go, grocery store, since this has happened, I'm getting gas, I'm doing whatever, I'm uneasy. I can't even imagine what someone that's not white is feeling right now. Like, I can't, like,
I mean, having these conversations with my fiance is
like, what is the wake up call though? Like what is it?
I mean, that's $1 million question or $13 million question, right?
Like, great point, dude.
Like, that's, and it's funny because, like, again, so many layers. Like at the NRA convention in Houston this weekend, all guns are banned from the convention center. Clearly, it's a private business, right? The convention center is a private entity. The no guns are allowed, but it's like, oh,
yeah, they're not allowed in fucking elementary schools either.
Yeah.
And that's, dude, if you'll indulge me, the solution is not arming teachers. Okay. That's like you getting a new job, whatever the job is. Say it's not even a teacher. Say it's fucking, you get a new job at McDonald's. And they say, hey, okay, thank you. Like, you applied to be our cook. You are a cook, but also
you're a crane operator.
You're also security. Yeah. So in the process of you cooking, if you see a bad guy come in or if you see a gun, we're going to need you to be trained to take out this bad guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Which is the other issue, right? There's so many layers to this discussion of like, hey, like we can't expect these teachers to teach the right curriculum. Right? No CRT, we're banning books. They're not allowed to talk about certain discussions, sex, gender, race, but we will put a pistol in every classroom. It's like, wait, so you trust me to like take out a shooter, but I can't teach the curriculum I want?
And do we even want to unpack the layer of how like, I'm glad that none of my school teachers had a gun because I was a shit in school. You know how many of my teachers probably wanted to fucking harm me at some point? Like, I've made teachers cry, dude. So what if you get an unhinged teacher that's tired of putting up with their kid's shit?
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah.
There goes your solution. Let's see what people are saying. Bobby said, it's hit us hard also this time. Maybe it's because Mia is that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're watching, you can read what it says. Yeah, dude. It's
well, even just like speaking of that, like I just went and got a haircut for new barber, trying to like first thing he asked me, he's like, so it's getting crazy out there. Like, what do you think about this school thing? And I was like, hey man, I just met you. Like, this is not an opening topic for my first barber session.
You're gonna ask me what sexual positions I like next? Like, damn, son.
I mean, not to like make light of the issue, but like, he's like, you got kids? And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, I got 4. And it's just like, it makes me real uneasy. And he's a black guy and he has 4 black kids. And I'm just like, he's like, you thinking about having kids? I was like, I mean, we've talked about it, but I mean, it's kind of up in the air. Like, we would love to have a kid, but school safety, food shortages, formula shortages, like nothing, like this world is just
getting their head blown off in fucking school.
Yeah, I saw that they were saying, I mean, this is going to get real heavy, but they said that they were having to do DNA swabs because the kids were mutilated by these bullets. Like, that's unimaginable. Like, what? I can't even think, like, process that. If you were to say that to me, I'd be like, no, like, my kid's in there. Like, why do you need my DNA swab?
Ricky said, I taught 4th grade and most of my kids were of Hispanic descent. I can't fathom why we wouldn't do everything necessary and possible to stop this. We're failing our kids. We really are.
Yeah.
But if Ricky, well, actually, I'm not even going to take it because I don't want to convolute this discussion with other situations that are happening, like the abortion thing. Like, because I get frustrated when people, try and lump everything into one. We need to tackle these issues one by one.
It's funny because it's like it's not like we're saying, because like I'm pro gun, right? Like I'm looking to buy a gun for the house. I support people's right to have a gun. But if it takes me 6 months to get my gun because of a strict background check, that's all we're asking for, right? It's not like we want to take all away your guns. It's like, no, it should just be harder, right? Like it.
And this is what I'm saying, Mijo. This is what's happening to me, because if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago what my stance is on it, I would have had the exact same answer as you. But now I'm pushed to
the limit.
The limit. I'm pushed to the most radical solution.
No guns.
Nobody gets a gun, which I understand. I understand that just came out of my mouth, and I understand that's unrealistic.
Yeah,
and that will never happen. But that's where I'm being pushed, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't. You say, oh, you can't have an extreme solution like that. That's not a solution. It's too extreme. But look at where we're at. Is this not extreme?
I mean, and look at other countries.
I'm a parent, and either you know exactly what your kids are doing, or you have raised your kids to like guns and applaud the use of these weapons. And Elaine, I'm not a parent, so I can't really fully comment on this. And I'm not fully disagreeing with you by saying that, how you're raised and, what you're exposed to can influence that type of thing for sure. But also, like, you get to a certain age and, you make your own decisions.
Also, like, for a while, like, you could say that now. I mean, speaking as a kid, like, at a certain point, like, whatever I was dealing with mentally or socially in my life, you could say, like, oh, you need to know what your kids are doing. But, like, I hid so much from my parents. And I know you did too at some point. It's like, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
You're not like at this point, like, you're my parents and I love you, but like, you're not in my inner circle of my teenage years.
Right.
Like the reckless things that we both did. I was like, my parents are never going to find out about this.
Yeah, exactly. It's
yeah.
It's I understand that this is a heavy thing, and I've been, it feels the amount of empathy that I have for all of these families, like, and it's crazy because we're not even talking about the one that most recently happened. There's 3 that's happened in the past 10 days.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel the weight. Like, if you're listening, you can consider this a fucked up exercise, or you can consider it an exercise to try if you are feeling desensitized, to like get out of that, because as fucked up as it sounds, like this is what I've done. Like, and as I'm unpacking this, maybe this is why this one, or the Buffalo one, like resonated with me, is like my mom works at a grocery store. Granted, and I understand that one was racially motivated, and my mom is not black. Mm-hmm. But think for a minute, right? If you're someone you loved, whether it's your kid, your mom, your grandma, your sister, your brother, whoever, someone that you love was a victim of one of these, or is going to be a victim of the next one, then it's not, oh, did you hear about that? That's crazy, right? That's crazy. We need to arm teachers. We need to, that's crazy. Then you don't say it's crazy. If you truly imagine that, truly think about it. Your mom's grocery shopping and some unhinged kid walks in there and blows her fucking head off for no reason.
Yeah.
That doesn't break you? Like,
no.
What are you asking me? Like, no, I'm saying like I don't know who I'm talking to, man. I'm talking to everybody. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Tyler said, what about raising the age? I think that for sure.
That's part of it.
It's definitely part of it. Seems most of these shootings around 18-year-olds, disgruntled, depressed, and confused. Would raising it to 21 potentially give most of these 18-year-old kids more time to learn and cope, or work through whatever issues they are struggling with? Just something a day parent,
as a parent,
I think about. Yeah, I think that's a very good starting point, I really do.
Which is funny because, like, obviously we're in Texas and I could speak on kind of what's going on, but like just last year, Governor Abbott signed a constitutional carry, so the good guys can have guns and everybody could have guns and they'll be safe.
Guys, yeah,
right. And it's like, so clearly that didn't work because there were people within the premise that had guns. He walked through, and again, to lump this one issue with it, it's like guns, right? We need police officers are trained to do this and that, and protect the thin blue line, blue lives matter. It's like they didn't do their job. Like, what the heck? Like, so you want more guns, you want more funding for police to keep the streets and the world safe and school safe, and it exactly did the opposite. The opposite exactly happened.
And it's
I read a report that the cops there ran in, got their own kids, and then blocked parents from going in to get their own kids.
And see, this is like, we don't know. There's still info coming out, right?
There's still there was a lot of bad info that came out quickly, but there's videos of that where you can see cops coming out with their kids. There's videos, and then there's videos of them arresting parents so they can't run in and get their own kids.
Can you imagine?
I've seen the videos. They're all on Instagram. I've seen the clips with the audio off because I can't bear to hear anything audio wise.
Yeah. No, you don't want to do that. Man, yeah, no. I just I wanted to start the conversation because since the last time we've recorded, there's been 3 mass shootings.
Yeah.
And I wanted to address it because it's been heavy on me, dude. I feel like I've been walking around with fucking 225 just like in squat position, and it's just been on me, man. And I just needed, for whatever, maybe this is just therapy. I don't know. Just like no one knows what the solution is. Oh, the solution is to arm everyone. If everyone has a gun, then
I think there's just like,
no one has a gun, we arm these people. We lower the age, or we raise the age. We further background checks. Like, there has to be some place we can start.
Well, the thing is, like,
and I don't want to be confused
there's just case studies, right? Like there was school shootings in Scotland. They banned guns. There has been 0 school shootings since 2001. Obviously, we're a different country, different demographic, different societal structure, but there's case studies. There's plans in place that other countries have done. Japan has done the same thing. Australia, New Zealand. New Zealand had their shooting during the pandemic, right? 2020. They had a gun buyback program. They bought a lot of people's guns back. And people who kept their guns, I think, got imposed heavy fines. It's like, all right, you get to keep your gun, but you're getting fined.
See, dude, and that's where I'm leaning. I'm being pushed there, right?
But we also have way more people in this country. I'm not excusing it, but we also have a lot more people in this country than all those countries as well.
That's a very good point, right? Yes.
So it's hard to compare places like Japan to America when we have let's say 400 million people and they have a population of 90 million.
Correct.
So, but they're like, well, it's the Constitution. I'm like, but it's been amended. Like, obviously, there's 24, 25 amendments. Like, we've changed it. We've changed the Constitution. So we know we can change certain things about our society.
Yeah, and if I hear one more time about that yellow ass crusty piece of paper that we fucking wrote up whenever we stole this land, get the fuck out of my face with that, dude. I know right now that I'm sounding like a radical. I understand that, but
there were still
don't confuse it. I'm feeling very passionate about this and very heartbroken about this. And I realize a lot of the things that I've said since we started recording are not attainable. I understand that we're never going to get everyone to happily turn in their gun. I understand that. Yeah. I'm just trying to convey how upset and how heartbroken and how sad and how much empathy I have for these people. Like I'm struggling for the words, man. It's
just hard because again, similar to Sandy Hook, it's like we're talking about 4th graders.
Dude.
Not that it's inexcusable that at the shopping mall or in a church, but it's we're talking about 10-year-olds. Like what? And regardless of his motive or not, or what race he is or not, doesn't matter. That shouldn't have happened. They're 10. The last 2 years have been a struggle with online learning. They're finally back in school with their friends. It's a week before they're out for summer here in Texas. I think next week is the last week of school for most of Texas. A week before your summer hits.
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
Yeah, man.
Most of us, we all have nephews, nieces, little brothers, sisters. I couldn't imagine. I just had a tragedy last year, and not that it was a shooting or anything, but it's just kids don't deserve that, whether they're the ones dying or they've lost someone.
Yeah,
it's just tragedy. I don't know.
And there was thank God it wound up being a false alarm, and there was actually no gun, but there was an incident about a month ago with my family. They were in a restaurant. Someone said something to the effect of, there's a guy outside with a gun. I've seen the security camera footage of whenever people hear that. And on this security footage, there's a lot of people that I love dearly. These people are my family. And seeing the
commotion,
the reaction, and people hiding under tables and looking for their kids, and running, dude. We gotta not can I ask maybe a stupid question? why do we need guns? Like, I'm genuinely asking. Like, I understand people hunt, right? I understand you hunt. I understand you have a gun to protect yourself in case a bad guy
Yeah.
is trying to harm you and your family. Like, I understand like the self-defense and like the hunting, but like what, like, can you hunt with a bow and arrow? Let's make it a little bit more of a challenge, right? Instead of pulling a trigger, can you learn how to shoot a bow and arrow?
Yeah.
Maybe, or can we
Yeah.
figure something else out? Like, what's the point? Like,
And like it's like, again, I'm not a, but like military style weapons. Like,
that's
I mean, it's not like, okay, I get it. You want a pistol, you want a shotgun, you want a bolt action. Cool, I get it. But like, does anyone need 3 AR-15s?
no. The answer is no.
I have a buddy who has 2. Dude,
Oh,
do you
hold on.
need?
I'm skipping here. What are your thoughts on transitioning military vets back into the civilian world by putting trained vets in public schools?
No, I don't
That's
agree
a
with that.
Yeah, no, especially with
Mm,
knowing the amount of, and I'm not saying all vets,
PTSD.
with the amount of, some, mental damage and
Didn't they say like
PTSD.
every 22 minutes a vet commits suicide?
Yeah. I
I don't.
Tyler, and don't get me wrong, like, I like where your head's at, because we're like looking, this is a conversation, like, we're looking for solutions, right? We're like asking, like, where do we start? In my opinion, though, like with the military, like, that would have to be a very heavy, like, you talk about background checks and psych evals and things like that. That would have to be, I would say that would have to be a at least year-long process. Like, this sounds weird to say, but like vetting the vet to be like, okay, this person
Yeah,
is mentally capable. There's haven't shown any signs of drug addiction, alcoholism, PTSD, mental, like, they're fit and
but
they're good
I
to
mean, how
go.
many vets? How many vets go into police service?
I don't know.
And again, to my
I'm sure
point,
some, yeah.
it took them an hour to
Right.
get
In
into
this
the school and
instance,
kill him.
right.
Like, what are we talking? Like, protect the thin blue line, vets, this and that. It's like, all right, well, we got trained professionals, quote unquote, and they didn't even do a fucking thing.
Yeah, dude. And that's
I
a
mean,
whole nother.
if we're looking for like immediate, like if I could think of immediate solutions, I would say,
When I hear about these racially motivated shootings, I think about what it was my brother. What if it was my brother, or one day my nephew, who's a little black boy, but will one day be a black man? I'm not saying this to bring my sympathy toward myself, but this is what every black man thinks.
yeah,
What if it's my dad? What if it's my cousin? What if it's me,
yeah,
Ricky? And I can only imagine, man. Like, I, yeah,
yeah, and it's an interesting, like, it's a lot of. I mean, we're always continuously learning, but like having a black fiance, like we've had those discussions. She's told me about her life growing up and her brother, you know.
yeah.
So, um, but like immediate solutions, like that you could enact. Like, let's say just everyone in Congress and Senate like agreed upon like raising the minimum age 21.
It's a
Boom.
start. It's a start. Let's do it.
One, I'd say a 6-month waiting period to buy any gun, whether it's a little tiny pistol to your AR-15. You could still buy them, but 6-month holding period. And you
Psyche
got the
Val.
and when you come to pick up your gun, you purchase it, final payment, whatever, you bring a psych eval.
Have to have a psyche Val. And what about this? And this could already be in
That's
place.
2.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because this could already be something. But how often do we have to renew our driver's license, right? And if
I
you let
mean,
it
it depends on the state.
and
I
if
know
you
it's
let
like,
it expire, you have to retake a test.
yeah,
Not a driving test, but
I think it's 5 years in Texas, but I know Arizona it's like 50 years.
oh,
I'm like,
well, You get the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Every
I
so
think
many
every 2 years.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, like, say you go to buy a gun, and in this perfect world that we're creating, you're over the age of 21, you've had a psych eval, you've waited the 6-month period, you're fit, you're a normal person. You buy a gun, you want to have one to go to the shooting range on the weekend and protect your family if you ever need to, right? Normal, responsible gun owner. You buy that, and let's say 6 months down the road, 2 years down the road, you get a divorce, what I'm cherry picking stuff here. One of your kids dies from cancer. Yeah. You have a shit deck dealt to you in life, and maybe you start drinking, maybe you don't. Maybe you just take shit really hard. Maybe you're mad about whatever.
Yeah.
You can't just go off of the one. Like, you need to, if you want to be, and this is a lot of the arguments that I'm seeing, like, what about responsible gun owners, right? If you want to be a responsible gun owner, would there be any arguments about having to re-up every year, or re-check in, or retake a test, or
There's a lot of
eval?
things. There's I saw another one saying, what was it? Liability insurance. If you are a gun owner, you have to carry liability insurance. So if anything happens with your gun in your house, let's say your kid took it, you're liable and your insurance pays it out. But insurance would never do that. Insurance doesn't want to be liable for all this shit.
I haven't heard that one, but I really like that.
You're liable for everything that happens with your gun. I also think people say National Registry. Your name is in a database. You're only allowed to buy certain ammo a week. What, this kid bought almost 400 rounds of ammo the day before?
I saw something.
I would be like, if there was a National Registry, let's say he went to 3 different stores, I'd be like, you're already capped out of ammo. You can't buy more.
Dude, if I wanted to go buy 6 boxes of Sudafed right now, I can't.
Yeah. But I can go buy 6 to 10 boxes of ammo right now if I wanted to. Boom.
No questions asked.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
Those are all solutions, but nobody wants to talk about those, right? Because
right here, dude. Yeah. Right here. Let's not get confused.
Yeah.
Right here.
That's the $1 million question. Why wouldn't they?
Or what? I like the point that you made, the $13 million question, or whatever these bozos are getting paid.
They could only take certain amount, or I don't really know, but I saw the top of the list was Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
He's gotten $13 million from the NRA.
Yeah. That's why every time that he comments, it's as vague as it can be.
Yeah.
And the solution is
with Governor Abbott and everyone.
And the solution is, we have
thoughts and prayers.
We have a mental health crisis. No, yeah, you're right. We do have a mental health crisis.
Yeah, but
there's people. Yeah, I'm one of them. I've suffered with anxiety and depression, and here's the thing, and I'm coming from a place of, I've always been uneasy around guns. I'm like, I don't need that in my life, right? I'm more of a baseball bat guy. If I'm going to come in a confrontation, right, I want to be able to feel that, and then we all walk away. Nobody's having to go to the morgue. You might go to the hospital, but you're not going to the morgue, right? And it's I'm coming from a place of that. Like, you don't, dude. I don't even. I feel like I'm getting to a point to where I'm rambling. And so if you're still with us and you're still listening and you've been participating in the conversation, thank you. And thank you for letting me and Mijo like vent or search for solutions or whatever this is. This is, I don't want to say this is helping, because all of those people are still fucking dead, but this is helping by having a conversation and, starting to have different point of views. And for me, like, please don't get my point of view twisted. Like, this isn't political for me. Obviously, I'm not a Republican, and obviously it's easy to point at, this is a Republican Party problem and the Trump and this and that and all this bullshit. Yeah. That's not what I'm doing at all. All I'm saying is, like, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, Christian, whatever. We're all here.
Yeah.
And there's a problem.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Going back to the mental health, like I posted it this morning or last night.
Oh, real quick. I remember hearing you say mental health. I remember where I was going with my own mental health. Like, I don't need to take the psyche eval. I don't need to have someone tell me, hey, you're depressed. Maybe you shouldn't. But like, I know that I shouldn't have a gun. Not saying that I would ever harm anyone, clearly, but I know that I'm not the ideal candidate that you want saying, oh yeah, no, he owns guns. You know, he's a gun guy. So I don't need to go through that whole process of that, you know, and that's kind of what the point that I was trying to make before I went off the rails of, you got to be also self-aware.
Yeah. But,
yeah. And Ricky right here. And we continue to defund mental health services.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. I posted this morning that like Governor Abbott says the Uvalde shooter had a mental health challenge and the state needed to do a better job, quote unquote, do a better job with mental health, unquote. Yet last month, he slashed $211 million from the department that oversees mental health programs in Texas. It's like, so you're lying. Like, you're a coward.
Yeah, no, or you could say, so you're saying that there's a problem that you helped create.
Yeah.
So in turn, you're responsible.
You're
correct?
a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Yeah. But and going back to like responsible gun owner, you're like, you say like I shouldn't be. But like me and my fiance, I've talked about getting a gun for the house, like a simple, like 10 rounds. But she seems really uneasy about it. So I'm not trying to force it too much. Because she's from the LA area and she's seen a lot of gun deaths. And so when I tell her that, I'm like, hey, like when we do this, like I need you to come with me so you're just as trained and I'm not the only one in the house. So like to ease the burden of like having a gun in the house, right? Like you're just as trained as I am, so you don't feel threatened by me. Because I know like I'd be okay with the gun in the house and she might not, but she at least needs to know how to like handle it. If that makes sense. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want guns in the house, and then there's 3 people in the house that don't know how to use a gun or load it. It's like, we need to do this together. And if you still don't feel comfortable after like doing it, we won't get a gun. And I feel like that's also a responsible thing that people are just like, here's guns, and go buy one if you want. And you take one training class to. So,
yeah. It's
hard, man. They're kids. I mean, not that any mass shooting is like excusable in any way, but like 10-year-olds, like,
yeah.
And even younger was fourth graders, right? 10-year-olds. Like, I mean, even like I said, even Sandy Hook, like there were kindergartners. Like,
yeah, dude.
And then you
life hasn't even started yet.
And then you expect people to like. There's mental health challenges. You expect people to have forced births. There's more kids, more unstable parenting. People aren't ready to be parents. You know. And then you don't take care of the problem. And when there is a problem, you bounce, right? It's somebody else's problem. It's the door's problem. It's mental health. It's where's the parents? It's like, where are you? Like, you're the congressman. You represent me. But you don't. You represent the NRA.
Yeah.
You don't represent me.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the part. And I said that I wasn't making this political, and I'm not, but I'm just pointing out facts.
Yeah.
What breaks my heart is, you know, everybody says, vote. This is sure, they're in control, but we're in control of them. We vote, right? Vote. And what breaks my heart, dude, is with these politicians on both sides, right? They will have a stance on, you know, things like guns, right? The NRA, Second Amendment, it's your constitutional right. I have to stand by that, right? And so they get people on board with that. Or, you know, maybe it's the opposite. And then maybe you don't agree with their stance on that, but you agree with their stance on, you know, we listed abortion, or you agree on their stance with Israel, or you agree on their stance with whatever. And you're like, okay, here's the candidate. or the choice of candidates, I don't necessarily agree with them on the gun thing, but I agree with everything else they're saying, all this stuff. And it gets kind of like pushed in there, and you wind up voting against your own personal interests.
Yeah.
In the interests of the country. Once again, I'm not taking sides, Democrat, Republican. I'm not that I could give a shit about this whole made up illusion of division, like bullshit that we have of like, I'm on this team, I'm on that team. It's all fucking bullshit, and it's all made up. But like it breaks my heart whenever we do go to vote and it's a half-ass vote. And what I mean by half-ass vote is your information comes from, okay, we're leading up to the election, and oh yeah, no, I saw so-and-so said on TV that they're standing by this or they believe in this,
They're all liars.
Yeah. And it's just,
they're all liars. Like, and that's the hard part, right? You vote. It's like people, case in point, it's like people are like, I voted for Joe Biden because I have a shit ton of student loans, and he said he was going to forgive all student loans.
Right. And then
we're here 2 years later.
And then you ignore everything else that he stands
for. But I mean, and that's a
problem
with the two-party system. But like, I mean, even
that's a topic for a whole nother.
Yeah, but even the most honorable people, you would say like Joe Biden's an honorable person. It's like he didn't keep his word.
You could.
Yeah.
You could say anybody's an honorable person on some level.
Yeah. But it's just keeping your word. And these politicians, I'm for this, I'm for that, and I want the American people to prosper. It's like, well, no, you don't.
It makes me sad, dude, because
you voted against baby formula. Like, you clearly don't give a shit. Like,
dude, and once again, this is because I'm not a parent, but I like to think that I'm a comedian. And I'm constantly reminded that I'm not. And I kind of came up with a bit about the baby formula, which I'm not going to share on here because it will bomb, and I don't want to take away from what we've been talking about. But I thought it was pretty good if you've got a slightly unhinged sense of humor, right? But once again, if you've stuck with us through this and participated in the conversation, thank you. I'm not going to say that I feel better because I don't, but I do feel like just talking hasn't made me feel better, but
it's gotta let it out.
It feels good to talk.
Yeah.
And say what I think and have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure.